Hello, we're back, and we're still standing here. Um, we're still standing here trying to decide whether or not we should step away from karma or not. I mean, okay. I don't know. I don't really know what to do. I mean, this is. I don't know if I want to continue further a relationship with karma like that. Excuse me. But I don't know. I like karma, but there's like, it seems sort of sad. But I feel like I don't know him enough. And I feel like there's something, I don't know, that he's hiding, like, that there's something, I don't know. I feel like I feel like I don't trust him. That's the thing. I feel like I don't, excuse me. I feel like I don't trust him enough. I think I'm gonna step away from him because right now I don't feel like I trust him enough. So that's what we're gonna do. I wish someone was here to help me with this, but well, it's just me. So I'm gonna step away. Okay. I take a step away from him, and Carmen's hands fall from my shoulders. He sighs out. The story better be just as dramatic as mine. Well, that's right, he was going to tell us a story. Thank you, Lucette. For what? What was that? I made the right choice? Is that what's going on? For agreeing to listen. And for what you just did. Now wait, if I didn't step back, would something else have happened? Stepping away from him? Was I distracting him? Once upon a time, in a land far, far away, there lived a crown prince from a kingdom called Rugantia. Rugantia is one of the neighboring kingdoms, so this isn't make-believe. His name was Claude Adric Rinaldi Matthias Almonte. Almont. But because the name was such a mouthful, he settled for an acronym as a nickname. Oh. Wow, that's how slow I am. I just got that. Okay. At least around the palace where it was acceptable. Claude Adric Rinaldi. Comma. Of course. Claude Adric. Comma. See, she knew it too. Right. Prince Claude was a man who flaunted his beauty and talents to all that he met. He often used his title to get what he wanted. Prince Claude was a selfish man who felt he was entitled to everything that he had. He was vain and often left his castle unattended, so that he could avoid his responsibilities. Then, one day, he chanced upon a beautiful maiden in the town square. He led her around the whole day, being as charming as he possibly could. And then at the end of the day, he asked the woman to be his lover. Why, how forward of him. She agreed. Oh, okay. But their time together did not last long. Only weeks later, Prince Claude threw her away as one throws away an object, and broke the woman's heart. And she cursed him. She dropped an airplane on him. I hope you... I hope that airplane wasn't too loud. That beautiful maiden was a witch, but Prince Claude found out too late. The witch said she would make his beauty, his vanity, a curse. To make even beauty a curse? Ashamed of being cursed, Prince Claude donned a disguise and left his kingdom behind. He has been gone for nearly a year now, and most probably assume he is dead. But in truth, the prince had come to Angel seeking a way to break his curse. He had heard of a young lady named Lucette who on her 18th birthday could dispel any curse. What? Okay. Karma. He looks so sad. I don't know how to comfort him. Claude? Claude. Karma. Claude. Turns a startling red as he stares at me, and for a few moments he does not speak. Then he bursts out laughing. I stare at him in shock, not understanding his reaction. I feel myself flush. Isn't that your real name? No, darling, it is. But hearing you say my name, well, it sounds so much softer out of your lips. I rather like it. My cheeks are warm again. How is it that he is always able to make me feel this way? I will call you by that name if it makes you so happy. Let's make it a secret between the two of us. I'm still Miss Karma here. Besides, I'd rather you kept that name for my ears only. It makes me feel more special that way. More? Special? At that moment, Garland shows up for practice, and Claude politely excuses himself. I watch the two of them trade blows. Claude favors his other hand, but his blows still come quickly, even with his injury. The more Claude tells me, the more I realize that he's, like me, a noble cursed for being selfish. You know, that is true, actually. But how do I help break his curse? Why can't he tell me? As practice is drawing to a close, Claude asks Garland the usual question. Have you confessed to Jurian yet? Garland only shakes his head in reply. The two men sheathe their swords. Garland looks almost sad as he turns to make his way back to the tavern. He likes her, and yet he won't say anything. Why is that? Frustrating me so much. Garland. Yes, Princess? Oh, I have a choice here now. Say, you have to tell Jurian, or say, it's nothing. You know, after all this time, I think it's a very bad idea to become involved in other people's love affairs, to be honest. It usually works out badly. And I'm going to pick something, and I bet it's going to work out badly. You have to tell Jurian. Claude told me before that confessing is hard, but what Garland is going through, looks even harder. Yeah, that's true, actually. That's what I was thinking, too. Princess, you know I'm incapable. No, you think you're incapable. But if you never say anything to her, you'll never know. If I say something wrong, I risk losing everything I already have with her. And if you say nothing, you risk losing what you could have had with her. Or you could have with her. Oh, good. I made the right choice. Claude, Lucette is right. Should I call him Claude now, or I'll calm her still? Okay. Well, Lucette is right. Maybe you should really tell her, Garland. But before, Claude was adamant that Garland shouldn't confess to Jurian. What changed? If I mess this up... Let's try looking at it through another lens. Imagine that Jurian is Lucette. How do you think that she would like to be confessed to? I frowned at the two men, arms crossed. Excuse me? Well, you and Jurian are very similar. You're both very straightforward. Garland, confess to the princess? My eyes moved to Claude, but only fleetingly, before they are once again on Garland. You just need to do something simple, Garland. Something that will not rub her the wrong way. A man's heart is ever fragile, and each woman is different. Claude is wearing an amused smile on his face, but he is looking at me, not Garland. I feel my face flush and have to look away. Lucette, your tomato red again. It's adorable. I cross my arms over my rapidly beating heart again and force a scowl on my face. No, I was just thinking about what Garland could do. Something simple. Like when Karma kissed my hand, Garland kissing Jurian's hand is probably not a good idea. Yeah, I don't think so either. Maybe he could do what Claude and I did that one day in town. He can buy us some food, and they can just talk. Garland, have you ever just asked Jurian out for food? Not alone. Jurian is practical, and she always eats at the tavern. She's also always on duty if she's available. Claude, I'll take a patrol shift 2 nights from now then, and tomorrow. You can ask her out for a meal. We can make your invite a grand affair. We could drape banners on the walls, or I could give you a rose. No, that's a terrible idea. What are you talking about? God. That sounds like a terrible idea. Exactly. I'm offended. Garland. I feel like if I did something like that for Jurian, she would get embarrassed and punch me. Yes, that's probably the exact outcome. Sounds like another lady that I know. Claude grins at me, but I just roll my eyes. Garland, just ask her normally. Then when you're out and alone together, you can confess. And we'll make sure you have the time to do it. I'll purposely come late to practice tomorrow night, so you can ask her out for that date. That's a good idea. Okay. How does that sound? You two really think I can do this? You just have to ask the question. Whatever follows will at least be an answer. Tomorrow night, then. Good man. I'm sure it will go swimmingly. Or I could drown. You won't drown, Garland. Garland excuses himself with a nervous smile before Claude turns to me expectantly, with a mischievous grin. I wonder if something bad is going to happen. That sounds really... Okay. Whatever. Well, think of it this way. If he confesses to her and... If she doesn't like him that way, no matter what way he confesses to her, it will go back, it won't go well. I mean, not for him. I mean, it will... She'll still say no. I mean, she'll still turn him away, Maybe not harshly or cruelly or anything, but I mean, yeah, she doesn't feel that way. It's going to be, no matter what way he asks her, it's going to go badly for him. But if she does like him, then, unless he really, really does something badly, she'll take kindly to it, you know? So, okay, we're back to Claude. Calmer. Now, Lucette, we'll come here early tomorrow and spy on them. We need to scope out a good spot. Spy on them? Of course, we need to make sure that our efforts pay off. I don't think we should. No, you should. I want to see this. You don't want to see how it plays out? I mutely shake my head, unable to put my emotions into words. For some reason, I am imagining myself in Jurian's position. It feels too personal. Oh, yeah, I guess she's right, but I really wanted to see it. I want to see them in town. I want to see him confessing to her. That's what I want. Claude's likeliness suddenly springs to mind, and I feel my face grow hot again. Lucette, you've been oddly out of it today. Claude reaches out a hand toward me, then abruptly pulls it away. I stare as he smiles at me, almost sheepishly. The conversation between us dies, and we return to the Marchen. Days passed, and though I did not spy on the conversation between Jurian and Garland, I noticed that Garland has been smiling from ear to ear during his practice with Claude recently. I could only assume that his confession went well. Oh, good. Okay. We're back in Lucette's room, and Claude took to the patrol shift tonight, and as I lie in bed, I am restless. Every time I watch Claude practice in Jurian and Garland, I'm reminded of the palace, of Fritz. I wonder how Fritz is doing. Is he still practicing with the other knights? My thoughts darken as I recall the kidnappings. I wonder if that was Fritz trying to get her to come to the palace. But okay, anyway. Lucette, Claude had to save me every single time. He got injured saving me. Unable to sleep, I slip out of bed and make my way to the reception room. Okay, we're back at the reception room, the common room as I call it. The night air is cool, and no one stops me from standing just outside of the Marchen. I cannot just sit back and do nothing anymore. I have to act. I do not want Claude to get hurt because of me again. Oh, there he is. Eventually, I see Claude approach. He looks tired and is moving more slowly than usual. But when he sees me, his lips quirk into a smile. Lucette, what are you doing out here tonight, love? Love, instead of darling. That's new. Hello, Claude. Oh, that's right, she said it out loud. His face is dark red again. If you're using my real name, I suppose you've come to ask for something serious. How could he know that? I do need to ask something of you. Love, you need a shoulder to cry on. I'm right here, love. What? Oh, is this not about... Never mind. I'm asking if you will be my instructor. Oh, well, yeah, that's a good idea, actually. she could learn how to swordplay, fence. Maybe, you know. For some reason, I seem to have caught Claude off guard. He stares at me for a few moments. What? I wanted to learn how to use the sword, and I want you to be my instructor. Claude's expression becomes uncharacteristically serious. I'd rather you didn't learn how to use a sword. I do not want you to have to keep protecting me. I don't mind protecting you. I do. Claude sighs and shakes his head. She has a point. Princesses shouldn't be using swords. I want to be able to stand on my own 2 feet. You are. I do not want you to get hurt again when I can do something about it. Teach me, please. Claude. Once again he flushes. It seems to be an instant reaction, and is both amusing and endearing. It won't be easy. I wasn't expecting it to be. Claude stares at me for a long time before finally letting out a heavy sigh. Fine, I'll train you. Yes, okay. You won't learn in a day, but I can teach you the essentials. You can use one of the knight's training swords. Thank you. Music to my ears. Meet me in the clearing in 10 minutes. 10 minutes? What? You said you wanted to train, so we will. I wasn't thinking that either. I was like, right now, let's go. Okay, you said you wanted to train, so we will. Don't expect me to go easy on you. But aren't you tired? He looked exhausted when he came in, and now he wants to train. Already trying to get out of training? That's what I was thinking, actually. I am not. Claude shakes his head, but he is smiling. I'll see you there in a few minutes, love. Now we're back up at the clearing. At the forest where their training goes on. Moonlight spills through the leaves, illuminating the forest with gentle light. Long minutes pass as I stand in the clearing. I begin to feel restless. It isn't like Claude to be late. Is he tending to his injury? I hear a rustling in the leaves and turn immediately to see what the disturbance is. But the minute I do, I am pulled back by a strong force, and my world goes dark. No. Before I can scream, I hear a gentle voice in my ears. Voice. Lesson 1, Lucette. When apprehended by an enemy that you can't see, remain calm and use your 5 senses to judge how best to get the upper hand. The voice is coming from right behind me. Oh. It's calmer. He has her in a eye lock. He has his hand over her eyes. Claude? I become aware that this is the closest he's ever been to me, with my back pressed to his chest like this. Panicking disorients the mind. That is why you must remain cool under any circumstance. How could I not panic? Any normal person would panic. Well, that's what you're training for. So, still, I try to force myself to be calm. Lesson 2. Enemies will often let down their guards when they think they have the upper hand. Catch your opponent off guard by remaining calm and locating this weakness with your senses. I try to calm myself as Claude instructs, and I feel it is a bit easier, but only because I know it is Claude. An opening. I move as quickly as I can, stepping forward so that I could swing an elbow back at Claude's stomach. Before that happens, Claude has pulled me back to him, closing whatever distance I had put between us. In the process, he moves his hand from my eyes to my mouth. I can once again see the forest, while my words are muffled beneath his hand. Claude. Another thing to remember, you won't always be able to catch your enemy off guard by throwing punches or hits at them. Your opponent will usually always be stronger than you, Lucette. Remember what I said about a weakness. Enemies will often let their guards down when they believe they are winning. Just like I have. An opening? A thought occurs to me as I glance around me and then down at Karma's bandaged hand. Karma's bandaged hand is over my mouth. Is this an opportunity or a trick? What will you do, Princess? What kind of tactic would remove you from my grasp? Let's see. Now this would be mean to his hand, but I have a choice here. Either topple him, which I don't think she can do, or bite his hand. Frankly, yeah, bite his hand. I mean, that's what he's teaching her. I'm gonna feel terrible about this, but I have to try. I try to shift my head to get enough space to bite down, and even Claude cannot hold me completely still as I squirm. Eventually, the hand over my mouth moves just enough for me to open my mouth, but I falter. I cannot bite the hand that I injured. Unable to do anything else, I mutely shake my head, and I hear Claude groan. In one swift motion, he pushes me down to the ground, pinning my hands by my head as he frowns at me. You're not even going to try to find an opening? I glare at him. I'm not going to bite your hand. Bite my hand? I didn't even think of that. Oh, okay. But you made it obvious. You put your hand over my mouth. I meant for you to try moving my hand. Pushing back a person's thumb usually causes their grip to loosen. Oh, you know what? I didn't even think of that. How was I supposed to know that? I hope that means I chose wisely. Experience is the best means of practice, as they say. I have a complaint about that particular lesson, but I withhold it. That was a pretty good attempt, love, but not good enough, I'm afraid. I wasn't expecting you to come at me like that. I was expecting sword practice. You weren't expecting a man to kidnap you in the alleyway, were you? I glare up at him, unable to say anything because he is right. You're oddly quiet. It is hard to find an opening to hurt you when you're not really my enemy. He does not move, but continues to stare at me. His face is close to mine. Close enough to... Close enough to what, exactly? Lucette, do you trust me to protect you? That's not the point. I need to be able to protect myself. Excuse me. Because you're planning on investigating the witches on your own. No, I want to be able to protect myself because I do not want you getting hurt protecting me. Claude leans down, and I could feel his hair at my cheek. For a few moments, everything slows to a stop, and all I could hear is my heartbeat and his slow breathing. Once you set your mind to something, you don't let go, do you? Claude pulls away from me before I can respond, and he's standing again, offering me a hand. Let's get started with some sword work then. The pleasant smile is back on his face. I can never tell what he's thinking at times like these. What do you really like, Claude? Yeah, that says... Oh. Chapter 7. Thorny Rose. Okay, this is probably we're past 30 minutes now, so this is a good time to stop the file here. And that was a very interesting session right there. It seems that Lucette and Karma are getting much closer. But I still feel there's something... I don't know, there's something... in his story, I remember he was saying something about he needs to find the Princess Lucette for something to break his curse. Maybe he has to like kill her or something like that. Maybe his to break his curse, he's supposed to like do something to her or hurt her or something like that. So I don't know. Anyway, I don't fully trust him yet, so it's we'll see. Anyway, I hope that you had a good time listening, and I'm glad that you're here. And I hope that you continue on to the next episode and see what goes on. Thank you for listening, and please like and subscribe and all those nice things. And I'll see you soon.